Ooh, hey folks, how's it going? It's Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. The weekend is upon us. Hope you've all had a good week. Let's get my windows in the right places. After, I don't know why. Why did I put everything this way around? I much prefer it when it's like chat is near my camera, so I can actually read and face you guys at the same time. And I just noting that overlapping slightly. The original gangster has come. Hey Jeffrey, how's it going? Hope you've had a good week. Hi Southern Moats. Hey Lisa, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you've both had a good week. There's Austin Moats. We need to get some music on the go, really, don't I? Let's open YouTube and find something appropriate. Oh look, I'm live. Thank you, YouTube. Good to know. Bit of raining lo-fi. Let's see how this goes. Let's turn it down my ear a little bit. Right. So yeah, Wednesday. I can't remember what happened Wednesday. Yeah, I really can't. Oh yeah, Wednesday wasn't really feeling that high energy. Not feeling any energy Wednesday. So I thought let's watch the football, and of course the football wasn't great, but at least I managed to kind of chill for a bit. My first official stream merch is being worn by a fan. I haven't even got any of it myself. Nice. Yeah, I get paid next week, so I'll definitely be buying some. That's pretty cool. But that's gonna be an interesting feeling. So did you end up selling much merch when you're in bands and stuff? Yeah, much band merch being sold. I own quite a few band T-shirts from friends. Most of it. Yeah, there's quite a few T-shirts I own that were given to me by the bands because I was so supportive of the band anyway. They go, well, you kind of earned a T-shirt, so here you go. Yes, with my bands, always sold out. But with this stream, there's only been one buyer so far. There'll be plenty more. As I said, I would look into stream merch myself, but there's not enough people that watch me that alone would buy any merch off me. But I'd make caps with a logo on and maybe a T-shirt. I've sent the fan with the merch. Oh, okay. Let's have a looky. Ah, nice. That's pretty cool. Looks good. Yes, that's a pretty cool design anyway. Like you wouldn't even have to necessarily know you as a streamer to go, that's a pretty cool design to buy and wear. I know it kind of goes down the realms of like where you're wearing a band T-shirt without music, but you go, well, I'm still supporting in some way. But yeah, I'll definitely be buying a cap, and I reckon one of the T-shirts. But I say, it'd just be amusing if I buy the T-shirt with "Sorry for the Dutch" on, and then actually wear that when I come over to the Netherlands, because I'm gonna get some weird looks. And be going, why are you sorry for the Dutch? Well, I'm going to switch over to the main screen. We're going to work out what's going on with this animation, because I did try to work it out, didn't quite make sense. I might have to look up some stuff this stream, try and work out what's going on. Because this little wavy arm kind of waves without any code. So if there's any code attached to the arm. That wasn't getting seen. There's no code attached to it. Just an animator. Always animate. Always animate. So both the arm. So it does have waypoint script, but that's just for movement. So it has no avatar. So it has the controller, no avatar, no root motion, normal update, always animate. And that's exactly the same settings. It's obviously a different controller because the flag wave controller, let's find the flag wave controller. That's the flag wave controller, isn't it? A flag wave any. Flag wave controller. So we open the flag wave controller. There's no parameters. There's only the base layer. There's no transitions on the any state. No transitions on the entry state. We've got speed of 1. No motion, mirror. No multiplier. No cycle offset. No foot IK. Right defaults is on. And then nothing on the exit. So flag wave scene, which is what I've just called the flag wave Annie. That's not what I want to click on. So yeah. So yeah, for the trebuchet animation, I got a blend tree, and then the blend tree does you've got a blend parameter in there, so that plugs into there. So we've got entry into blend tree, and then I put it. Probably need to bring it out so I can actually put it into UI. Where do I actually put the animations? Oh, there it is, NPC. So I can do blend trees here. Oh, it's got no motion. Druid action. Oh. Druid M action. So what's happened to my... Did I delete it? So that's why it's not there. I think I must have just... I vaguely recalled deleting it last time. And go, okay, I'll just start again. Oh. But you can hit save and try running. See, it's probably going to be an error because I don't know what that... There's no red text. What's it complaining about? It's not complaining about anything at the moment, but it's definitely it's not doing what I wanted to do. So yes, there's no red text, there's no warnings. What I will probably do is put the camera back here. So let's find the Let's move the camera and put it on into the villager rigged. So it's now looking at the villager rigged. There's a camera there. So let's move the camera this way. Let's hit play again. Okay, so what happens to him? He seems to just sink into the world. I don't even know where he is. Let's go pause. Where is he? He's over here. What's he doing over here? Don't understand where he went with that. Okay. Let's bring up the NPC animation again. So I don't know what this druid... What is this druid action? Is this actually... Where is the... Characters and weapons? Druid's action. So, not intending to necessarily use the druid action, but I'm very interested into where that actually is. Can we do a search? Let's do a search for druid. Okay, druid. Doesn't appear to be doing much. But it's there. So it's in castle, characters, weapon, models. Castle, models, character and weapon models. Castle, models, character and weapon models. Oh, is it actually attached to the druid? Oh, there we go. It's actually part of that druid there. But is that druid rigged? I don't think it is. Ramesh Rendra. Okay, we'll go back to what we were going to be doing and just make my own animation again. Let's go prefabs. My prefabs, not the castle prefabs. As nice as they are, I like my own stuff. So that should be following. Let's go back to the, let's go to here. Let's go none. Doesn't have a motion. It's gone. So in theory, if I now run this, it should, yeah, so it should be following, which is what we want to do. But we need to kind of animate it so he looks like he Well, when I do an animation where it looks like he's just casually standing still, but then people never stand perfectly still. They shift a little bit. Maybe you can see them breathing, or they kind of adjust themselves. You just want an idle animation. What I will do, for sake of sanity as well. Where is the... there it is. Put these waypoints at a more reasonable position. Put 0.4, so 0.4. Waypoint 2. 0.4. Waypoint 3. 0.4. So this will stop the character from very slowly levitating to meet the waypoints. Okay. Whoops. Keys are the wrong fingers. Whoop. It's going a bit nuts there. Chill out. Now I would like to make a new properties. I'd like to make a new so what is that? That is a animation clip. I'd like to make a new animation clip. So we select our villager. Let's go create animation, and we'll call this NPC 1 underscore I. Come on, it's what idle. Idle, that's it. Hey there, Fairy. How's it going? Welcome in. Hope you're having a good Friday, enjoying your week. Skibbity Fairy. What is the Skibbity Theory? Is it a scientific theory? Is it a hypothesis? The theory of Skibbity? Hope your Friday's going well. Hope everyone's Friday's going well. Where's my laptop gone to sleep? Wake up. I did not give you permission to sleep, laptop. Wake up. Must plug it in. Yeah, I like how sort of Skibbity generally as a word or a phrase has become kind of like it's a meme phrase of the modern times. And there's people that complain that, oh yeah, it's stupid, it's silly. And go, no, it's anyone who was young when the internet was still in its infancy had their own words. We just stop using them now, and people have new words. It's all good. No, I do theories on the popular series called Skibbity Toilet. It's cool to me. Oh, that's fair. I briefly looked into Skibbity Toilet. Like, I was like, okay, what is the hype? Where's the hype on Skibbity Toilet? And it's just a silly, from what I've seen, a silly, nonsensical kind of animation made in Gary's mod. Is that correct? And yeah, it's just silly animations, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's you don't. Not everything created needs to have a purpose, other than just entertainment. But that's very cool. Cool, I like it. I bought a bigger Cuban today. Ooh, nice. Gotta go big. Well, welcome in, Skibidi. Skibidi Theory. What drawn you to the stream today, if I may ask? You into game dev? You interested in kind of seeing how indie stuff's put together? Like messing around? Because effectively, I could make animations, silly animations, and this is a silly game that has got slowly and progressively less silly, more serious. Well, at first it can tend to be silly, but the latest episodes are very cool. It's like surprising how good it can get. Yeah, I think yeah, kind of like this. You start off going, well, let's just have a bit of fun. Let's be silly with this. We don't have to be serious. Just mess around with a few objects on the screen, and then go, actually, let's try and do something with this. So it's interesting to hear that Skibidi Toilet has kind of progressed to something a bit more than its original kind of meme status. Yeah, that game dev, nice. Have you tried doing any game dev yourself, or you kind of interested to get into it? If so, what kind of things you'd be interested in? Like, I've always been into the idea of making my own game from an early age. When I was, I think I was about 11, 12. I had an old Windows, well, not even Windows, an old DOS machine, Microsoft DOS, and you could code in BASIC language, and all you had was ASCII characters on the screen you could move around. Or you could draw shapes with vectors and stuff. And I go, well, this is quite complicated and I'd love to be able to do it one day. And now we have 3D engines that do like 90% of the work for you. All you do is just move shapes around, do silly things, and that's where you get Skibidi Toilet from. All the hard work is taken away from you for you to let your creativity and silliness kind of flow. Hey Arvon, how's it going? Good to see you. Finally home. How are you, Junkie? Pretty good. It's been a pretty successful week. I'm pretty happy. I was glad to hear you're finally home. You can rest now. And welcome into the stream. Hope your week's been good. Yeah, I want to make an idle animation on this NPC here. And I made a animation for this flag. This is basically part of the main game. When you defeat the level, this little arm waves the flag to go, I surrender, I surrender. Which I can show you momentarily. But I successfully did that, and now I can't do this, so I'm kind of struggling on that. So what we're doing now is still trying to animate this guy. Create an animation clip. Yeah, save over that one. Will the game be available on Play Store? It'd be nice to try and get it on Play Store. I can certainly give it a go. It'd be released initially on probably itch.io on PC, just as a bit of fun. I have made an Android version, and I've tested it. It works on Android. I need to do a little bit of work, so certainly put it on Google Play. But for now, you don't really control the NPCs. This is just a bit of flavour I'm going for at the moment, because yeah, that looks slightly horrifying, that folk. Metarig, spine, Pelvis. We don't really want to move the pelvis for this. Gotta walk the dog, give the cat his food, okie dokie. Gotta keep the little devils in check. We'll see you when you're back. So I think when I was last working on it, I had the breastplates and the shoulders kind of moving to kind of simulate breathing. But oh, by the way, what is the game called? This, I've decided to call this game Revolt Overthrow, as it's kind of based on it's the idea of kind of overthrowing the government, but in a very silly, fun kind of way. I know it's not a serious protest or anything. It's just, what if we lived in medieval times? How would we deal with the problem? Scenes. Let's go to level 1. Let's save what I'm doing here. So you don't actually get to play with these characters, as I say. The main mechanic is over here. It's a trebuchet. We'll play the level. So I decided to try and make this initial part. Let's turn the music off. Initial part to kind of explain the story of the game, because otherwise you go, okay, it's just a thing where you're throwing rocks at a house. Why am I throwing rocks at a house for? The idea being, whoever lives in this house charges you taxes for your rundown village, doesn't do anything for the economy, doesn't help repair any damaged buildings, doesn't do any real upkeep, and just takes all the taxes, keeps them for themselves. So you acquire yourself a trebuchet and go, you know what, we've had enough of this. We're going to take their house down. So that's what kind of went with the idea of the game being like Revolt, Overthrow, because those are two titles that individually, and Overthrow is already a game. Revolt by itself, I think, is already a game. So I thought, let's combine the two names and go Revolt Overthrow. And Overthrow works nicely with the fact you've got a trebuchet that overthrows rocks as opposed to underthrows. So it's a very simple kind of thing. It doesn't require too much. It plays on mobile, but it will work on a by clicking on these buttons with your finger on mobile, with a mouse on PC, or using the keyboard on a PC, or if you plug a keyboard into your phone or tablet, you can use the keyboard that way as well. There we go. We've got a gold medal. I need to think of a better way to go, okay, telling the player you've won gold for this particular level, because you just get given a gold circle and go, okay, what's that about? Yeah, there's that little arm I mentioned earlier. So I animated that, and I was okay with animating that arm. So I'm not understanding why I'm having problems, but go to level 2. We're going, well, okay, we got rid of the first guy, but I hear the guy down the road that has 2 buildings is our next target kind of thing. So we'll go and take them on, take their houses out. Again, this is not the final designs. I might decide to, I was thinking of joining the 2 buildings together like a H shape, and then you'd have to hit the bit in the middle as well. It would make more sense because you have to hit both buildings before either building falls down. You go, well, where's the sense in that? But then you're having to hit a building everywhere for it to fall down, as opposed to taking out the structural points, and it's not physics accurate. It's as much as a puzzle game as it is a game about throwing rocks, because you have to kind of work out where the all the points are. Although I have made a hint button. Click the hint, it highlights in red where they are. So yeah, once you've hit all that, those fall down, next level. But I have made hidden projectiles, like the crates. You can now throw a crate. Or you could throw a barrel. But then all these other ones you have to unlock. So they're all in there. But yeah, I was thought, okay, let's make a little intro to explain that story. But I could just put a load of text on the screen and go, here's what's going to happen. This is the reasons. Okay, click next to continue. Because doing this means that I know how to make in-game cutscenes now. Well, I will do. And that's quite a useful thing to have. It's all gaining skills. There we go, back to prefabs. So we've got NPC idle. So we want our villager. Maybe didn't rig this the best, but I kind of used a default kind of rig. If I kind of want into the shoulders and the breastplates just to gradually kind of go up and down to kind of suggest that he's breathing probably slightly heavier than he should be, but he's breathing. Then maybe kind of like a little shift to the shoulders. You know, kind of like your typical video game characters when they just stood there. It's kind of like shoulders indicate breathing, maybe like a little shift, then back to breathing. But we want to put in the there we go, so breastplates, shoulders, add those to properties. So we move them to there, but then select those three and move them up slightly. Add the keyframe. I suppose I need to record it really, don't I? There we go. Take the record off. Do I even need... I don't know. We'll do that. Then copy that. Paste them there. 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 hyperventilating slightly. So what will we do then? Delete those two. Do that. Delete those two. So that's down, up, down, up. Don't think that's going to work, is it? Let's have a bit of a yeah. Kind of just needs to be in the middle there, and that on the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a full second animation. Still a little bit fast, but we can change the speed on that. So we got that animation in there now. Make transition to there. And we can delete that one. Animation transition mono behavior. Okay, interesting. Save that. I'm just gonna hit run on it and see if his shoulders move as the game's playing. They are not. Saving has no effect. Your class Unity editor.avatar preview selection is missing the file path attribute. Use this attribute to specify where to save your scriptable singleton. Okay. See, that's not even doing anything there. Transition entry into that. So it's got always animate. So this is why I'm not understanding why it's not a. Because we have the. See, that one actually moves. So that animation works. So what have I done that's different for that's flag wave. Oh, it is working, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is. Awesome. Okay. It's just very subtle. Maybe it is working. I'm just not seeing it. It's seeing it actually do it. Okay, where's the camera? Let's bring the camera down here. Let's do that. So maybe I'm making it too subtle and you can't see it on the camera. Because the camera's going to be up in his face. Oh, it is. It's working. Awesome. Okay, yeah, maybe I just made the animation a bit too subtle to see. I'm not sure why she's kind of being dragged through the dirt behind there, but... Awesome, okay. Well, that's working. It's a big tick box. We have a idle animation. So the whole point is we don't want this guy to be running around. Not initially anyway. So we want him to actually be stood in one of the stalls and these characters walking up to him and kind of like stopping, having a conversation and then moving on. So what we could do, what we could do is take the script off him because he doesn't want the waypoint script. Let's remove that. So he won't follow them now. But what I can now do, I select him. I want him behind one of the stalls. Maybe this one here, because this is a good distance through the village. So it gives them an opportunity to be walking so far. You could be stood there. Let's grab the camera. It's got a slight rotation going on in that camera. Well, I know I put the rotation on there, but is it the Y? No. It might be the Y. Yeah, it's just a little bit, looks a little bit awkward having that angle. But we do that and we bring it back a little bit. Because he's got a couple of things there as part of him. Right. Save that. Hit play. See, he's very slowly kind of, you can see him kind of subtly breathing, but it's only very subtle. And they walk past. So, one of the things I do need to do is this waypoint system I'm making. I need to have like a wait. Like, they get to the waypoint and they don't immediately seek out the next waypoint. If if the waypoint has a weight on it. So I need to add a property to the waypoint, the waypoint to give it a add a property to the waypoint to make it have a weight on it, as in how long the characters will stop there before moving on. So it needs to have like a little timer. Go, okay, you've triggered the weight. They'll wait there for so much time, and then kind of move on. So let's get to waypoint 2. Have it just in front of the and then waypoint 3. It's over here. Let's grab that. Want to kind of rejoin the center of the path. So where's oops, no, waypoint? So call that 46. And waypoint 3. Yeah, roughly 46 again, so 46. Waypoint 4, I want to then actually, you don't need it to go too far this way. Come to the well. At 46. Waypoint 5. Probably about there. Okay. Then what we do, we'll grab the camera and attach it back to the driver. Ever seen the man with the iron fists? Ooh. Is that like a kung fu martial art movie? Yes, it rings a bell. I might have seen it. With RZA from Wu-Tang. Ah. Also written by him. Nice. And I've seen a lot of like kung fu martial art movies. So I never tend to remember their names. Never seen it. Gonna do it now. Nice. You have to let me know what it's like. But I've seen so many ones that's just throwing on just to see a bit of a bit kind of like just kind of martial art action. So these guys kind of walk along the path. Go, oh, let's go and say hello. Say hello. Carry on this way. So that point just in front of the market stall, I want them to wait for a moment and then move on. So I need to add a waiting property. I also need to animate these guys walking, but I want to take a little break from the animation stuff. So So the waypoint script. I need to load up the waypoint script. Let's go to Visual Studio. Where's the waypoint? Do I actually have it open? Waypoint driver, waypoint. Just a waypoint. There we go. Let's do another serialized field here. Serialized field. Private. I suppose it's going to be a float, because we want to do decimals. The private float wait time, and make that equal 0 float by default. So what would the waypoint driver need to do? On trigger, so okay, so the on trigger thing. So call name is collision trigger name. If well, that's mainly for just for looking. If object is a waypoint, get waypoint number, current waypoint number. But we want to know if it's got a wait time, in which case we then do a wait. So let's go serialized field here as well. Serialized field, private float, do a wait time on the driver equals 0 float. So we'll do that. But we need, on the waypoint itself, we need a get now. I'm sure there's like a dog barking on this soundtrack. It's a bit off-putting. Get waypoints. So get waypoint number. Get waypoint number. So we need another thing, which is public float get waypoint wait. Return wait time. So this will return whatever wait time is associated on that waypoint. So let's go back to the driver and go waypoint dot get waypoint wait. So that returns a wait time. So by default we want the wait time to be 0. So wait time equals 0f, yes. Drive to next waypoint. So we need to stop the drive to next waypoint if the wait time if the wait time is greater than 0. I'm just wondering whether it'll forever reset the wait time because it never moves on. If it just keeps doing if the trigger event keeps happening, but I'm hoping the trigger event only happens once. Like as soon as you touch the object, that's the triggered event. It's not a continuous. It's an on enter, so on trigger enter. I think there might be an on trigger, but this is on trigger enter. So this is when it touches it. it then wants to grab the wait time. So we probably want an if in here. So if not driving, if wait time is greater than 0, it's greater than 0, then wait. Or actually, no, make it easier. So if it is equal to 0, then see if we need to move on to the next. So yeah, check if it is equal. If it's equal to 0, carry on. But what we want to do on here is count down the waiting time. So we need to reduce the wait time. So go probably go private void count down wait time. We want to go wait time equals time. It's not what we want to do, but equals wait time. I'm going to go -1. But we kind of want a countdown, don't we? Let's do another serialized. Private private yeah, gotta watch it tomorrow. Torrent is slower than I thought. But at least you got something to watch tomorrow. We'll float. Private float. Let's call it wait tick. Let's go 0.5 float. Go minus wait tick. And what we're going to do here is do a little if to see if we need to do it anyway. So if wait time is greater than 0, then we reduce it down. And then when it gets it's greater than 0, do that. Let's put anything else in there. Just say a failsafe. So if it's not greater than 0, then we just make it equal 0. That guarantees that if it goes to minus figures for any reason, we'll just set it back to 0. Let's go back to the editor. So that one there will now have a wait time of 50. And the driver has the wait tick and wait time. Cool. Save that and see how that works. Besides, New Bigger Cubans also bought a flat brush t-shirt. Ooh. Well, that didn't quite count. Need a new cap, only have like 90. Nice. Yeah, might need to up that time a bit. Okay. I'm not sure if the code kicked in or not. We'll put something ridiculous like 1,000. Flatbush Zombies is favourite rap group of mine. Ah, nice. Right, see if this applies a wait time now. Cool, has a quick conversation. Cool, yep, righto. Right, see you later. He walks off. Nice, that kind of works. Just gonna be right back for a second. Need to plug my keyboard in. Just put my away screen on. I'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Right, that's plugged in. I actually have a illuminated keyboard again now. So I'm happy with that that kind of system there. If I'm still not sure about it, it's the driver. But it certainly makes life a little easier. Let's put a little loop on the beard. Right, so we can duplicate our villager there. So he should have the animation and everything on him, the animator and the rigging. Ah, he's back. Welcome back, Lisa. Hope all the animals are happy. Thank you, thank you. Right, we could do with trying to animate this guy to make him walk, really. So we could try that. But I'm happy with the waypoint system. Mostly happy with the waypoint system. That is the fact that the characters are actually following the square. So they go to there. And I need to make sure that they're always facing the direction of travel. That's one thing I do need to make sure. And it kind of does when the square is in front of them. But if they are on the square, it's not as obvious for them to kind of face the direction of travel because they're already facing the square. They don't need to change direction. So the driver. So waypoint driver, I suppose I could give to just the villagers. But I suppose what I'd quite like is for them to not quite reach that point. So they always kind of stand back slightly. I'd like are they all kind of like a little buffer zone where they never quite stand on top of each other. Because if you've got multiple characters following each other, say you have a party, and you're running around, and you have your kind of party members following you, you don't want them to ever be standing on the same spot as you, nor do you want them to try and stand on the same spot as you, and just kind of stand there vibrating as they can't quite get close to you. So you need to work out, okay, you get so far and then you just kind of stop and you're close enough. Flatbush made a song called Monica. They named it so it doesn't have to be censored. Okay. Because if you pronounce it, it sounds like the N-word. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Clever. I've noticed, I was thinking the other day actually, on songs that have either titles or lyrics that kind of hide controversial or kind of curse words, swear words and stuff. Kind of your censored words. Because one that immediately sprung to mind is the Sex Pistols, which in themselves has obviously got away with naming themselves Sex Pistols, but there's nothing directly kind of offensive by the word sex. But they have a song called Pretty Vacant. And the way they obviously pronounce the word vacant, they kind of make two syllables very noticeable. And it's very clever because they're actually saying a non-censored word, but in a way that makes it sound like it should be censored. And I come across a couple of other songs, go, have they been clever here to say something that would be censored? But just the way the words they're using and the way they're pronouncing it kind of hides it. But then, yeah, Monica's a a good example of that as well. But then I suppose you can say words that have double meanings and kind of words and phrases with double meanings within the context kind of hint towards other things. So you can have hidden meanings anyway. And especially if you don't quite realise what the context of the lyrics is. You go, well, it doesn't quite make any sense, or it's nonsensical. You go, well, actually no. You read the lyrics in this context, and you go, oh, yeah, that is quite an adult theme going on. But there's a lot of pop songs that hide adult themes, and small children sing them, which is quite disturbing when you kind of think of it. But they don't know any different. It's only when you get older and you go, I used to sing that as a child. And that song was talking about things I shouldn't have been talking about. Whichever password. I don't want to make your chat bannable. No. I'd rather you didn't. You kind of where you have passes for it, you use your passes. But I certainly don't kind of allow any kind of passes here. Doesn't matter what your heritage is or if you've got a pass. Most people are just a name on the screen. No one knows. Don't care what anyone tells me. Multiple black people tell me all the time, real ghetto gangster types. Only people that call me racist or say I need to behave are uptight white people. Yes, that's usually the case. It's usually the case that white people end up getting offended and calling other white people racist for things that don't actually offend. Like you can kind of commend to a certain extent. It's like, okay, we should be more aware, but then people go too far. And yeah, who's to be followed in case the saviour types? Yeah, like being offended on behalf of people just kind of takes people's voices away. It's like, well, these people can speak up for themselves, and yeah, if they ask you to kind of help out and go, well, we want people to kind of help speak out on things, fair enough. But a lot of them go, yeah, we don't need you to kind of be offended on our behalf, because a lot of time people get too offended, like, oh, you can't say this about this group of people, and that group of people's like, well, actually, we don't really care. Speaking of things, in British English, is Dutch door a thing? Dutch door. Doesn't ring a bell, no, Dutch door. We have many Dutch Dutch named phrases. Like double Dutch as a term for not making sense. So watching Modern Family, American TV show, and all doors split in two, call them Dutch doors. Oh. Let's just go a quick Google. I'm not sure what we would call those. Oh, is this the top and the bottom open separately? I suppose there's a hard hardware. Stable doors, we tend to call them here. Call them stable doors. Yeah, so name after country. Yeah, we call them stable doors because you can open the top half and speak to the animals in the stable without actually opening the bottom, and then if you want to let the animal out, you open the bottom part. Double Dutch also has a meaning in my country. Okay. Yeah, Dutch doors, never heard them called Dutch doors. But yeah, stable doors. You see them in a lot of farmhouses. In my country, it means you use two anti-conception methods. Contraception methods, okay. Oh, be extra sure. Interesting. Yeah, let's just let's find the yeah. Yeah, so the slang that I'm aware of, is it American or is it English? Might be American. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You got double Dutch as in like not understanding someone's speech, like they're talking and you don't understand them. That's kind of, there's got that sense of what double Dutch is. But then also double Dutch can be jumping on a rope in America by the looks of it. So I think it's using two ropes, and when you spin the ropes, you're jumping over the two ropes. That's kind of, in America, is known as double Dutch. But I think in the UK, double Dutch is not understanding what someone's saying. Yeah. Talking or writing that is nonsense and you can't understand. So it's quite, I can't see that being very kind towards the Dutch to say, well, I don't understand what you're saying, you're speaking double Dutch. Not just Dutch, but double Dutch. No sort of what's the other? There's a few things that kind of just throw the word Dutch in there. I suppose at one stage it's kind of considered to be exotic. Go, oh, anything that we feel to be exotic is Dutch. Just trying to think what the other ones are. Oh yeah, paying Dutch. I think I've talked to you before about. If you have you go to a restaurant with a group of people, and then, so when you go to pay for the bill after the food, the phrase is to kind of go Dutch or pay Dutch, where everyone pays a equal percentage of the bill. Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure they consider Dutch people to equally pay bills. I don't know. And then we've got the slightly rude one. We're seen as cheap and greedy. Yeah, there's probably elements to it there. And so the only one I know is Dutch ovens. I think a Dutch oven's like a big oven, isn't it? But the slang for a Dutch oven is farting under the covers of a bed, which I suppose is related to the actual oven itself. So you're just making a big oven. I know in the 1700s a sex doll was called a Dutch wife by British sailors. Oh wow. Yeah, that doesn't sound nice towards the Dutch women. Yeah, and sort of in history, the British kind of seen all foreigners as well, a lot of the British probably still do now. You see foreigners as kind of like lesser people. Now, I like to say it's not the thing now, but there are some British people that still consider anyone who's not of this land to be lesser. But yeah, I think it's sort of just considered that well, so a lot of other cultures probably got it from the British as well. Not that it makes it right. I'll try and get the rest of that. It reminds me of that sort of paying Dutch. Went out for a meal with some friends the other week and I paid for everything. I need to get a little bit of money back off that. I like it. My second account, the word sex doll has been starred out because apparently that's potentially offensive. You really need to kind of switch that filter off, but until I start doing stuff with that account, it doesn't really bother me. Right, I'm going to try and animate this man here. Right, so we want to have another animation. Create a state. Empty state. Create a animation. We'll call this one NPC 1 underscore should we do something with his arms? Just kind of having gesturing, like kind of like a general kind of or should we just go straight into walking? Should we just do walking? Let's do walking. We can do the gesturing afterwards. Create a new clip. Walking. Save over that one. So we now have idle and we have walking. So his spine, we have his pelvis. Let's move it about there. So we kind of want well, the whole body needs to kind of bob, doesn't it? So not just the pelvis, but his thigh, his shin, his foot. And of course at that point he kind of whole body leans. Probably not quite that far, but let's see him back a little bit. His other foot does a thing as well. Probably about there. Ends up straightening. So we want the so these ones down here we want to copy. And that for to kind of rotate up a little bit. Games and tutorials, how's it going? Hope you're having a good Friday. Welcome into the stream. Pretty good, glad to hear. What I'm making, right now I'm trying to make a man walk, but the set that we record off. The game itself is just a simple game. I'm just trying to do a bit of animation to spice things up a bit. But it's a save that scene. Save everything. Yeah, but the basic game is not involving this man, but I'm testing things out anyway. The main game itself is it's just a fun little game about throwing rocks at houses. Its basic premise is you're not happy with the people who live in the house because they make you pay too many taxes. Let's turn that down. Loves playing real life? Yeah. I'll be lying if I said there hasn't been some real life inspiration. But you have a trebuchet. Favourite game? Nice, nice. But yeah, it's a inspired by loosely inspired by current events of you know what, let's just go to the people with the big houses that make us pay a lot of money and just throw rocks at them. But it's set in medieval times, so we have a trebuchet. Like to throw bricks through windows? Hope people aren't living in those houses. Well, if they are, I hope they deserve it. But yeah, this is a nice kind of legal way to throw rocks at things. Yeah, this is basically the game. I called it Revolt Overthrow, because you're trying to overthrow your landlord basically by throwing rocks at his house. But there's 2 levels I've made so far. I'm trying to make an intro animation. Maybe some other cutscenes to go along. Relatable, yeah. Yeah, I thought it might kind of hit well with current events. But this started off with just me going, can I program a game to throw rock at a building? And I go, you know what, I can. And go, well, why am I throwing rocks at buildings? And kind of adding motivation and kind of story. Oops, there's one more there. There we go. And eventually, once you've hit the house enough, it falls down. make a plane you can crash into it if you get enough points. They call it a UAV. Go. Oof. Yeah, certainly can't do that on this level. Might get some upset people. As much as I'd love to be able to just throw a joke in there, some people don't take jokes very well. Okay, what about a boat? A boat could be an idea. A nuke. A nuke could be a fun thing, couldn't it? If you get gold medals on a few levels, you unlock a nuke. You can kind of use it once and just kind of like blows everything up. But I would like to make a boat level though. A boat level would be fun. Like rather than a trebuchet, just have a cannon, and you're just firing a cannon at maybe one of these noble people that charge taxes has a big boat on the shore, and you have to fire the cannons off the shoreline at the boat until it sinks. That could be a fun level. What are you going to release the game on? Probably the free platforms for now, which is like itch.io for PC. I want to see if I can get it on the Google Play Store, because this does run on mobile quite nicely. Might need to do some tweaks a bit more on mobile to get it a bit more kind of mobile friendly. It works on mobile. I just need to kind of test the gameplay. Make sure the screen's not too small and details and all this. But yeah, certainly try and release on Google Play and itch.io. I don't know what the cost is to release on Google Play. If I want to release on Steam, I think it's 100, 200, maybe £150 to release on Steam. So yeah, that's a bit of money if the game doesn't sell. So for something like this, I'd have to make sure people want to buy the game to put it anywhere it will cost me money. I think Apple Store doesn't charge anymore. They used to charge, but the only thing with Apple devices, I don't own an Apple device, and they can only make Apple games on Apple devices. So I'd have to borrow an Apple device for that. But Android, I can make Android games and I can make PC games. I should be able to make Xbox games, but I don't know how that works. But that'll be fun. It'll be fun to release something on Xbox eventually. But for now, this is a silly little game, as the title of the stream suggests. I could only install it from the App Store anyway. Apple, yeah. Yeah, I'd have to get hold of an Apple device. I know people with Apple devices. But yeah, Apple locks everything, that you can only make a game for Apple, with Apple. Whereas Android, Linux, PC, you can make it all from a computer. Like, you don't need to have anything Apple. It's a little bit frustrating, but they own the platform. They go, well, you can only make games for Apple if you own Apple. But maybe one day. But yeah, I've made a selection here where you can have different things you can throw. So if you get tired of the rock, you can throw a crate instead. And you unlock them. You can make Apple version to release through itch.io. I don't need App Store. Okay. I still need an Apple device, but that's good to know actually. It's like the medieval Angry Birds a little bit. I was thinking of going down the Angry Birds route. Send me a copy of the files. Yeah, I have to send you the project file, and I'll then have you compile it for me, and hopefully it works without any changes. Thought that was a bot. No, there's a couple of bots in my channel, but Kartik Kamori is not one of them. Well, you're probably seeing it via the Restream bot. So I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube right now. So there's a bot that's sending messages between the two. Two more to hit over there. Is there anything over this side? No, it's just one left. Oh, a bit too high. Got it. Bronze. Took me a while to do that one. But those two buildings falling down, not related to any disasters that may have happened in any other country. Not intentionally. You go to the next level, it just goes back to level 1. But yeah, that's basically the game there, games and tutorials. So what kind of stuff do you do on YouTube? Are you kind of like a game tutorial channel? So my YouTube channel used to be kind of like live music events, but then I went into like gaming and stuff and streaming. So my channel's pivoted. My channel is just me. It's whatever I like, it goes on under that name. I play and review games and make short and understandable tutorials. Nice. I like short and understandable tutorials. There's too many long tutorials. Like people who make tutorials typically, if they're not making a good tutorial, they end up making it about themselves and not the content. Whereas this channel, as I say, this channel is very much about me and what I like, and that's generally my content. But yeah, if you're gonna make a dedicated thing, then stick to the thing. Or they just advertise a massive scam website, yeah. You know, I just want, when I'm looking for a tutorial, I just want to know how to do everything. I don't need to know about you. I don't need to know about kind of like your life. Like obviously a little bit maybe here and there, but a tutorial is supposed to be a tutorial. And I definitely like channels where I go for the short and understandable. So yeah, you're doing a good thing. Pop that in there, make sure it registers. So it keeps going to sleep. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm making a silly game, which has got a little bit more serious as I try and learn more things. Let's go back to the walking animation. Landlord is going to be pissed. So pissed, yeah. I was thinking of actually putting the landlords in, maybe. Where they are. Here we go. Over here somewhere. No. I've deleted them. I got basically a pack of everything you see here. I didn't build a single thing. This is all like an asset pack. So it's like, okay, I'll just grab things and I'll make a game with them. They are T-posing some kind of ritual, yeah. They'll be standing in a circle humming. Calling forth the underworld. But yeah, I'll use an asset pack. These are standard medieval villagers. But if I was going to make a character from scratch, I certainly wouldn't make their face look like that. But for a character that I don't have to build, I'm not going to argue that these are okay. The buildings, I mainly bought it for the buildings. I like all these buildings. These are quite fun, cartoony looking buildings. But I've un-T-posed this guy. And I'm going to try and make him walk. Like this guy has an animation. He's just kind of standing there breathing. But I want to try and make somebody walk. And I know you can get pre-made animations, but I want to learn the hard way. And then if I need to make something easy for myself, then I can do that later. I thought I recognised those buildings from another game. Probably. But this was, if you're aware of Humble Bundle, I purchased like a pack on Humble Bundle, and they had all these buildings and castle. It's basically got build your own castle pieces. So you have walls, you have towers, you have all kinds of things to do with medieval kind of sets, but in this kind of cartoony low poly style. And I thought, you know what, I can make a game of this, and I am. This is what this is. But this is more kind of like a playground for me. This is like, what can I make? Forget about all these visual stuff. What can I do with code? And so I've written all this code in here, all these different code files. I've written all that. Hey, thank you for the sub there, games and tutorials. That's much appreciated. Thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to focus on writing the code scripts and stuff. You're welcome. Thank you. Not having to like work on all these things, but animation is quite unique in some ways. So I'm going to have to learn how to animate. And then, eventually, I want to be able to make my own buildings, make my own characters, make my own props. And I've started learning that stuff. But I'm going to learn as I stream, or stream as I learn. And kind of take everyone along with me. But yeah, for now I'm using these found assets, so to speak. And in the future I'm learning Blender, so I'm going to be making my own assets for a future project. So a quick drink of water. But I've done some Blender streams. If you go back from my YouTube playlist for game dev, I got some Blender streams where I've been playing around with Blender. And I actually rigged this guy. Because they don't come with rigging. So rigging's basically adding like bones, like spine, foot, pelvis, thighs, shins. So I had to take this character into Blender, give him a skeleton, and now I can actually move the skeleton. Whereas before they were just kind of T-posing static statues. You couldn't do a thing with them. So I've had to at least rig this guy with a skeleton. And that's what I've got so far with him. It's like half a walking animation. And then kind of want to move the arms, because the arms typically kind of move in some capacity. You don't kind of straight up, so the shoulder would dip as you're walking, and maybe your arm kind of have a slight swing. So I need to do all of the bones need to be moving. Oh, I hit play, didn't I? Yeah, so this is kind of the animation I'm going for, that these people walk along talking, they stop there, they carry on walking and talking. So we're going to take a trebuchet, I know a guy, we're going to go and take out the landlords because these buildings here haven't been repaired, people have no homes, so we're going to do something about it. What if you turn the catapult around and yeet a massive stone at the guy's shop? Yeah, could turn it on the villagers. There's gonna be Easter eggs for certain. Like you throw things at certain things and you unlock secrets and Easter eggs. So I'm gonna be doing things like that anyway. Like to unlock the extra projectiles, you have to hit certain things anyway. Achievements, yeah, it'd be nice to put achievements in there. Yeah, I love to do all those extra things. I love playing video games. As I say, I've loved video games since I was very small. And I wanted to get into game development since I was about 11. Um, so it's taken me a few decades, but we finally got there. So this game won't be available on iPhone, only Android, for initially at least. I'll probably have to send it. Probably send it to Kotick Komori to make an iPhone version. But if I can make it, I'll definitely release it for iPhone on itch.io for you to download and install manually. But yeah, I'll give it a go. I was only talking about Mac. Okay. I don't know how the iPhone thing works. I think you can still make iPhone versions on Mac. For the iPhone, you do need App Store. Ah, okay. That's fair. Okay, for Mac then, I'll have to work out how you do the iPhone stuff. You might still need, I think you still need a Mac for iPhone, but then you'd have to then upload the iPhone version to the App Store to then download it. Well, I'd have to look into that. I know people in game dev that could tell me a bit more, because I got a friend who released an app on Android and iPhone, so I might have to chat to him, see how he did it. But yeah, never say never. Games and tutorials, because I'll give it a go. Because once I've done it once, I know I can do it. That's the main thing. Which is, as I say, this entire game is try everything, so I know I can do it. So releasing on iPhone would be a nice thing to go. I've released a game on iPhone. I know I can do it now. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know that. How is there any cost involved? I'm not sure if there's any cost on Android. Release release game on upcoming iPhone games. List of all how to release. How do you release the game? Sign up for the developer program, prepare the app for submission, create a listing via the App Store, create an App Store screenshot, upload the app using Xcode or Blimey. There's a whole process. Apple don't make it easy. Whereas I think Android, you just send it to them and they go, yeah, cool. Usually only review Roblox games though. That's fair. Yeah, I don't expect anyone to review this game. It's not a game for review necessarily. It's a game because I made it. That's all it is. It's a game because I made it. Yeah, it looks like a whole hassle to get something on the App Store for Apple. There's someone here releasing a game, making a game in Unity. I don't have a Mac. How do I put it on the Apple App Store? You probably don't. What was it? Apple has a cloud build service that will do this, and now there's also ways of setting up Mac environment to do this. Pretty honestly complicated, not well documented. Comes with all kinds of complications, instability as a result of Apple's certificate process. Easiest way is honestly just buy an old Mac. Okay, so yeah, you definitely need a Mac to make any iPhone stuff. Yeah, because whenever I gotta download something from the App Store, it doesn't always tell me if it's secure. Ah. Yeah, like, I think, because basically it needs to be reviewed by somebody at Apple to go, oh, is this a safe app? And then they go ahead. With Android, there's not so much security. I got antivirus anyway though, but it happened when I installed the add-on. Oh, interesting. I know generally Apple OS systems a little bit harder to kind of have unsecure stuff, but it's not impossible. Not impossible. You can write viruses for Mac and iPhone. It's just not as easy, and people don't bother. Somebody here on Reddit said they went to a shop, bought a brand new Mac, used it to make compile the game, sent it to Apple for review, and then returned the Mac. Seems a bit of a long way of doing it, but somebody said don't bother with Apple when they make life so hard for game developers. Why bother? That's a fair comment, I suppose. What solution building, testing builds? Yeah, basically, I'll need somebody with a Mac to release on the iPhone, and then I'd have to do all the sign up for Apple developer programs and stuff. So that's probably why there's not as much on iPhone, indie-wise. Because indie developers don't want to jump through so many hoops for a game they might not make anything from. Whereas, yeah, we'll release this on itch, I can go, okay, this is donationware. If you would like to drop me some coins, I'll be much appreciated. But then, Unity has like Android adverts, like Google adverts built in. So if I wanted to and release this on Android for free, I could actually build Google ads into the game, like you see with so many free games on Android. So I can do that built into Unity. I don't need anything special. I just go, I want an ad on my game, and it'll do that, and it will link to my bank account and send me money. So that's why you see so many free apps on Android that covered in adverts. And yeah, they get the money because you're playing the game. You see an advert, developer gets paid. I don't particularly want to do that. I don't want to cover my games in adverts. I'd rather have other ways of making money. Because you're just basically stealing people's time at that point. And time is precious. I don't want to be earning money from your time. I would like to earn money from your enjoyment. Like if you're enjoying the game and you want to pay me money for the game, or you're buying the game from me for the enjoyment. But I don't want to take your time. I don't want to steal people's time with adverts. Because that's what it is. Stealing time. But I'd certainly like to give it a go, making an app for an iPhone. I'd like to make an app or a game for Xbox and PlayStation. Nintendo Switch, I don't think I'm ever going to bother. Because if iPhone's hard and Xbox and PlayStation are hard, then Nintendo Switch is near impossible. Because they make it so difficult for Nintendo Switch. Like Nintendo Switch is basically on par with Apple, if not worse. And that's again, you don't really see many games on Switch that actually have great value. They're indie. They're kind of like sort of very basic shovelware. It's a shame. It'd be quite fun to make a game for Switch, because this would run on the Switch, no doubt about it. So probably at that point you don't need to lean too far, probably only about there. Again, doesn't even need to lean that far. The whole thing's rotating. That's not what I want. It's spine rotation, isn't it? It's the spine I want to rotate, not the body. So dial that back a bit. Still a bit too much lean on him. Probably only about to that far there. So that's 118.176. Let's do that. So it only leans forward slightly. Hit the record button, so of course it doesn't save it otherwise. There you go, just very slight lean as he walks. Probably that's 11. So we don't need that actually rotating so much anymore. What are we doing for time? Let's give it a few more minutes. Just want to try and finish an element of this animation. So of course I need to kind of have him fall to the ground slightly, because when you think about it, walking is just controlled falling forward. You're just controlling your fall forward, catching yourself, and then falling forward again. It's weird to think of it that way, but if you consider it on a mechanical level, that is what you're doing when you're walking. So you're putting your foot forward, you're falling onto that foot, you're stabilizing, and then falling onto the next foot. So you've got to think, okay, as a character, he does that, he kind of falls onto that foot. It's probably about there. Kind of needs to lower slightly, and then Cool, okay. That's half a walking animation, in the basic sense of it. I suppose as that foot comes forward, he leans forward onto it. This leg behind him needs to kind of extend out. It kind of looks like it is, naturally. We'll probably just need to help it a little bit. So that is the left pelvis, the thigh, and the left pelvis. Just need to extend back a little. Kind of like that. Probably by there. His left foot, not left foot, right foot, thigh, shin, right foot. Needs to be about there. So I guess we're about there. Suppose when he gets to back to center again, which is about there, needs to be the same position as he started off here. Okay, that's so that's kind of him shuffling along now. It looks fairly natural. Fairly, not 100%, but fairly natural. Let's look at the other foot. Because that foot does bend. But I suppose the knee kind of needs to bend as well, doesn't it? Otherwise he's got quite a probably by there. That leg seems a little bit stiff still. Move that pelvis up. Move this pelvis up. So it's kind of taking a step. Just need to kind of get the other side now to he lifts the foot, steps forward, brings that kind of pretty much level. By this point, his thigh, shin and foot should be about where it was to start with. So his left thigh, shin and foot is going to be copy those. Do that. Okay, so he's shuffling now. He's definitely shuffling. So to actually complete the walk on the bottom half, so we're saying that's a quarter of a second to do a shuffle. So we kind of want to do the same thing as what we did here, but on the opposite side now. So we kind of want to flip the two sides. Now, as it's getting late, and I'm bound to kind of mess things up, I can do this next time. But we're making progress on this. I'll take off the record. We'll hit save. And we'll continue with this next Friday. I think next Friday should be fine. Let's double check my schedule. Next Friday is, oh wow. Yeah, next Friday is fine. And then the I think the Friday after that is fine as well. But then the Friday after that, there'll be no streams on the Wednesday or the Friday. Or the following Monday. So we've got two more game dev streams, and then I will be taking a week's break. So we'll try and get this done in 2 more streams, like this animation. And we'll try and put some, trying to do a little bit of animation, like walking with the physically moving, and then do some voice lines. And then we need to rig up the other characters that I want to use, and then I can basically just copy the animation. As long as the rigging is the same, I can then copy the animation across, and all the NPCs will have an NPC walking animation. So doing this once for one character means I can do it for all, as long as all they share the same bone structure, which I can copy paste. So doing this once allows me to have all the NPCs walking. So I'll try and get that finished next week, I think. And then I can rig up the other characters. Shouldn't take too long because I can auto rig and just adjust where the bones are. The fact that the rigging's right down to like the muscles in the face is a bit crazy. So you can kind of make him move his eyebrows around and twitch his nose. It's a bit too much for what we need. But it's fun that it's there. Let's switch over the camera. Go back to the main full face camera. There we are. With a fluffy beard. I've got to tie this up. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off for now. I'm gonna get some rest. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for being here, Lisa. Have a good night. You too, Jeffrey. Good to see you. Have a great weekend. I will indeed. And a good night. You too. Hope everyone has a good night. Have a good rest. We'll be continuing on with this next week, as I say. Like, learning things makes it seem like it takes a long time. But once I've learned this stuff and have it in place, I can just have NPCs running around everywhere. And that goes for any future games as well. So, yeah, it's a slow progression, but we'll speed up, definitely, once we've learned these things. But thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday, whatever you've got left. And have a good weekend. And I'll be back on Monday. So I'll see you then. Have a good night. Good night.